I'm not here. I'm a figment of your imagination. I'm Mirandy Wandering, Angie, Yasmina. Is Luna still here? Hey, just keep it real. How are you, darling? I saw you. I felt so bad. I'm like, I hear you talking to me, but I'm like on a 15-minute lag. But I did a whole thing on the hair crack. It is the best, especially if you have thick, curly, wavy, dry, frizzy, all of those kind of hairs. It is so great. Hey, Belle, Samantha. And it comes, I used to get it in a cream, and then I found out that it also comes in a mist. I had the mist where I got my hair done. So you just ordered it. Did you get the mist or the balm cream? And I think it smells great. I love the way it smells. And then I always use a wet brush when my hair is wet. In fact, I also just got I got it at CVS, I think. The wet brush brand has a round brush now. You got yeah, I just did the mist the first time. This is the first time I bought the mist, and I haven't used it in a while. So I bought the mist, and I love it. And I put it on my hair after, when it's dry too, to keep the frizz away. So it's very light. So I like it a lot. I was using that one hit wonder that came out on Facebook for a little bit, and it really worked well. The first bottle, second bottle, I didn't like. Hey, sweet Harmony, Mama's the boss. I was just trying to find out. See, my Rumble is not working, and I don't know what is going on. It's telling me to edit it now, and I don't know why. And I'm just going to save changes, but it's still telling me it won't do it. Nope. Hey, Jody. Let me just get rid of this. So that was the reason why I was coming live, was I really kind of wanted to mess around and see if I could do the Rumble and the YouTube at the same time. But I am streaming to both my channels now. How long? I've only been live a couple, a minute, 2 minutes, something like that. Oh yeah, no, I was, I was wrapping up work, and I'm like, oh, she's going live, and Angie was like, oh, she's going live, and then, I was like, dang, I know I'm gonna lose her in the middle, because as soon as I was leaving the office, and I was like, dang, I know I'm gonna lose her, so it's hard for me to chat. Hey, Tragic. Well, I was trying to do YouTube and Rumble at the same time, scheduled, but it's telling me that Rumble's not working. But the last time I just did YouTube, Rumble picked up by itself. So I don't know I'm so behind in this kind of stuff. But I am streaming to both of my channels, my backup channel and this one. So it is letting me stream to both YouTube channels, I believe. I should go check that, huh? But I guess I can get rid of my Rumble one now. All right, I don't need that tab up. I don't know. It's so weird. I can't. I just can't. I'm like, I can never get anything right with this stuff. So how is everybody? Did everybody have a good Wednesday? I can't believe it feels like this week is dragging. Is it just me? And the weather's been pretty nice, like sunny but cool and nice and pleasant. And I'm sitting in my office, and all of a sudden the sky's getting darker and darker and darker. And now it's just cold, and not even like really rain, just cold and nasty. Hey, Jen's mom. You just want to share that your daughter, who is a licensed psychologist, will be speaking at many places about how to speak to your children about difficult things. I'm proud. Oh, wow. Oh, congrats. My son is a psychologist as well, Samantha. He is. Facebook just invited me to their broadcast channel. Netflix is watching. I don't know what that is. Hey, Bella and Buddy's mom. Oh, so now my feet are ice cold. I'm sitting here with my robe on. Mostly Jewish. Is she gonna be speaking about like how to talk to your kids about the war going on and stuff like that? That must be really difficult to have to deal with right now, to explain to a child. Oh, really, sweet Harmony? It's just you put in tragic wise, just no two at the end, and she should come right up. Yeah, I'm really proud of him. He's right now. He's just doing social work in I think it's an assisted living place, but I don't know. I don't know what he's. I don't know. I haven't spoke actually. His birthday. I sent him on PayPal, and I got a Facebook Messenger. Thanks, Mom. I got to go see him, I guess, or something. I should make an effort to go there. It's just traveling is horrible. Okay, so there was a press conference today that I didn't look at for Rex Heuermann, the Lisk suspect. They are now saying that they're interviewing Harrison. He is the so Rodney Harrison is the Suffolk County Police Commissioner, and he was at the press conference as well. And he is saying that they're interviewing 4 new people who could connect more cases to the suspect, Rex Heuermann. Heuermann has been charged with murder with the 3 Gilgo Beach, and then he's the prime suspect in the 4th. We knew that. All right, so right now, I guess I can play it if anybody is interested. The pervert is live. Okay, Green Goblin. Sorry, tell your dad I said hey. Really? Huh. Tragic. Are you here? Tragic. Can you drop your Rumble link in here? You probably can. Yeah. If you're here. Was that rap? Nah. Here we go. Just time him out or whatever, Miranda. It's fine. I'm not in the mood today to play with him. I'm not in the mood today. Not in a trolly kind of mood today. So yeah, so there's that. They're trying, I guess they're trying to still get him on Shannon Gilbert and Miss Vergata, but I don't know. Oh. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Hey, Queen. Queen, you need to stop working. Okay. You need to be easy on yourself, sweetie. Oh, so there is a little bit. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of this. I thought it was going to be a little bit of, see, John Ray, the attorney for Shannon Gilbert's family, he's a little eccentric. I know you said you were going to have to edit a video today, Ange. Hey, Gator Hater. So I thought it was going to be kind of hinky because John Ray is a cat. I mean, he's definitely eccentric. I'll play a little bit of it. Let me see if I can get it up. Where are we? All right, here we go. This is fair use and all that.
There will be a lot of bloodshed.
It doesn't let me skip this. I'm
bloodshed.
sorry.
We have a war to win.
Ooh, that looks good, actually.
This is breaking news.
Happening now, a potential update in the Gilgo
Marie
Beach
Calvi.
murders. The attorney for victims in the case is expected to announce new.
Fun fact about this newscaster, Marie Calvi, she wrote a book, and it was the love letters between Theodore Roosevelt and his wife. Fun fact. I had to hear about it like every single day on the news.
Evidence. Let's listen in.
One other station that was late, and they're here. Okay, so then we don't have to wait. I wasn't going to wait anyway, but
John,
you know,
this is
if
the
they
attorney.
step in,
Oh,
we might have to go over a few things. I don't know. All right, when you're ready, you tell me, and I'll tell you I'm ready. Good afternoon, everybody. We're here today because new information has arisen in this case from witnesses who were so far unknown. Those witnesses, of which there are 4, have given us statements, 2 of whom have given us affidavits regarding this case, regarding Rex Uerman and Shannon Gilbert and
Hey,
Karen
Tori.
Vergata. Before I talk about them, first, I want you to be aware that here stands the commissioner, as you know, with me. And up until now, we have not made it known to the public that we have been working together on this case steadily since the time that I came to know Commissioner Harris a year ago, February.
Okay, I think I should maybe. I hope he's not going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Do I have to keep stopping it and talking through the whole thing?
Up until that point, the police department was very resistant to receiving any kind of evidence or information from my office from what I was doing. That all changed significantly when Commissioner Harris stepped in and we began to collaborate. And we've collaborated ever since. That collaboration.
Watch, Amber or Flava will strike me for this. And this man certainly loves pattern mixing.
Has had fruit. And that fruit, at least, are the witnesses I'm going to be talking about today, as well as other evidence and information which we have shared together and with the police department, and therefore with the task force. So it is true to say that our cooperation has given rise to more substantial, valuable evidence in the entire case of the Long Island serial killer. So with that in mind, I'm very pleased that Commissioner Harrison has seen fit to open his mind and to do what I'm suggesting has been done, contrary to all those who have come before him. And he's approaching this case in the right way. He's the right man for the job, and
he's a bit of a blowhard as well. Unfortunately.
He's done his job well. As to the witnesses, as to the evidence, in no particular order of importance, because so much of it is important. I have stood as a beacon as a civilian beacon to the people who are involved in this case to come and talk where they didn't want to approach the police out of fear, out of apprehension, out of in some cases, a natural distaste for the police department because of the work these people were in. So they would then come to me and speak to me, and I would interview them, and we would then cooperate, them and the police department. And so with that in mind, the first two witnesses I'm going to talk about are both of them are not Suffolk County residents. I should point out that we obtained from these two affidavits, their names will go unmentioned. Their names are blotted out of the affidavits, but the affidavits will be available to you right after the press conference. As to the first one I'll talk about, this is a witness who has every reason to have no bias, no interest in the case whatsoever. She was not a sex worker, is not a sex worker.
Okay, so I'm wondering, I just forgot what I was going to say about this. Look, I lost all my viewers because everybody thought I was going to talk about people today. That's great. That's after this, but this guy goes on in a long time. I mean, I could stop it if nobody wants to hear it. I can watch it later.
And instead, back in the 90s, in the 1990s, she was what is known then and now as a swinger. She would have a sex partner, and they would go to certain sex clubs in New York City where they would switch partners with other people of like kind. One of the most important places that they would go was called La Trapeze on West 27th Street in New York, right near
Oh, okay. Well, Mom just went live, Miranda.
Rex Heuermann's office. And this was a notorious place for swapping, for switching partners. Sometimes several hundred people at a time would be involved in this place in its heyday. Its heyday was in the late 90s, right at the time that Karen Vergata is involved in this case. In this situation, this particular woman was dating a police officer from New York City who was in narcotics, a detective, and they would go to these switchy clubs, these swapping clubs. At a certain time, at or about Valentine's Day of 1996, I believe, the couple went to La Trapeze, and I think it was on the wall at La Trapeze where an advertisement was placed to go to a house in Massapequa Park for partying, for switching, for swapping.
Oh, I don't care. I just letting everybody know. I'm like, there's 12 people here. I know, it's fine. No, I mean, I'm listening to this. I just want to make sure because I can listen to this later.
She went with her boyfriend out to Long Island, but before they went,
Swingers.
her boyfriend picked up a woman in New York, in the city, who had apparently just gotten out of jail, and she was disheveled and hungry, and she was a sex worker. We don't know the details yet of how he came to know her, but he knew her. And she came in the car with the two of them. They went to Massapequa Park. Before they got there, they stopped at a gas station, and the girl who was with them expressed some apprehension about where they were going and why. That was all wiped out when it was pointed out that he's a police detective, so don't worry, no problem. They ended up going to Rex Heuermann's house. In the house was the wife of Rex Heuermann and Rex Heuermann and the other girl. The other girl who we believe to be Karen Vergata. This girl disappears downstairs at the house. Rex Uerman disappears. And according to our witness and other witnesses I've talked to,
He's
when men
like
are
this
swingers
all the
with
time,
their-
Randy, all the
their
time.
partner, very often they switch sexually. They go back and forth between male and female. And so Uerman
He's giving us a lot of details.
leaves the main floor and disappears either into another bedroom or downstairs. It's not clear. And the witness talks to Rex's wife. She doesn't want to have sex like she had expected to occur because our client believes because our client is an African-American woman. And Uerman didn't like that. Ellerup, rather, didn't like that. So there was no sex between them, as was originally planned. Instead, the sex is between Uerman and the other man. At some point, the witness goes looking for her partner and is kind of upset that he doesn't emerge. He emerges, and finally, they leave, and kind of in a hurry. But when they leave, as they're leaving, the witness points out that she could see in the window, looking out, the girl that had come with them. And she says to her driver, her partner, "What are we doing? Are we taking her?" And the partner says, "Don't worry. They're just playing a game. She stays there. No problem." With that, the girl runs out of the house naked and is running in front of the garage. And now the witness says, "Hey, shouldn't we be taking her? Something's wrong here." And the driver tells her, "Nah, they're just playing a game. Leave it." And they leave. She never hears about the incident again. She distinctly remembers Uerman. She also had intercourse with Uerman
Ew.
that
I
same
forgot
day.
to say something, so.
And she kind of buries it, forgets about it, until on TV she sees the picture of Karen Vegata, and she recognizes her and said that's her, and she recognizes Rex Uerman. And so she comes forward, and I meet her. I interview her at great length. I also had the police department. We arranged for detectives to interview her. And I found her story. I interviewed her for 3 times for a total of 9 hours. And I found her story to be credible. She also mentioned that Rex would go out in the backyard and start a fire at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in a big barrel that was outside in the back. And she was worried about that too, that it would attract police. Anyway, she seemed credible. She appears to be credible. And she was willing to sign an affidavit to that effect. And that affidavit will be available to everybody.
I want to see the
And
affidavit.
the details
Maybe we
I've
can
just
get that.
told you, you will find there. The second witness who's come forward. This woman is not a sex worker, never was. She's not a switcher or swapper. She's not involved in any
Flip
sexual
flopper?
activities whatsoever. She has nothing to gain by
A switcher, a swapper, a YouTube flip flopper. Ha! There we go.
coming forward. She's not looking for a book or money or the usual things that you're hearing about out there. None of that. But she came forward because she's very disturbed about what she knows after she also saw Rex Uerman on television and Shannon Gilbert. And here's her story. She is a banker by day, and at night she worked extra in Suffolk County as a taxi driver to take care of her family. It was a one-parent family. As a taxi driver, she is called from her dispatcher to go to the Sayville Motor Lodge on Sunrise.
Okay. So the Sayville Motor Lodge is notorious for prostitution and drugs. Yeah. Not a nice place. And the call was probably dispatched to Colony, which is the cab company that operates out of the Sayville train station. And I know several drivers for Colony, but I don't know any female ones. But now I'm going to get in touch with one of my friends I know and see if he knew who she was, because he worked there at that time. And actually, he was a night dispatcher there for a while, too.
Rise Highway, that infamous place that the commissioner here busted a year ago, and for prostitution and other illegal activities. She's called to go to that place, and that there's a girl awaiting her who's locked in a bathroom and will come out if she flashes her lights and beeps the horn. And she goes there and does that several times. It doesn't work. But then suddenly a giant man who fits the description of Rex Heuermann comes out, and he's covering his face with his arms so he can't be seen. And he runs to a van or an SUV right nearby that's parked right there. She continues to flash her lights and beep her horn, and out comes a girl crying, shaking, very upset, and gets in her car. There they talk for a while, and then eventually they drive to the Ronkonkoma Railroad Station, so that this girl can go back in to New York City. This girl was a sex worker who was servicing the big man, and the man had seduced her into coming to Sayville by several times over the telephone, convincing her that he was just a nice man who was going to help and work with her to help her family, her mother, her sisters, and her boyfriend. Shannon has a mother, sisters, and a boyfriend at that time.
Okay, so kind of weird that he said Ronkonkoma train station, because there is a Sayville train station. I'm trying to think in my head, because Ronkonkoma and Sayville are kind of close. It's just they're two different lines. Yeah, the Sayville is the South Shore line. That's the Babylon line. The Ronkonkoma is the Ronkonkoma line. They both go into the city. Sayville, you would have to transfer. Ronkonkoma would go straight in. So if it was very late at night, she would probably have better. She would get a train faster if she did go to Ronkonkoma. So there is that. That is truthful.
She had her hair pulled back, and
hey, Laundering, thank you for
because she
being
offered
here.
more wigs. This girl turns out to be Shannon Gilbert. Now, Shannon is lured into doing this particular tryst, and she's given an envelope, or shown an envelope by the man that looked like it was stuffed full of money. And he tells her, there's $1,000 in there. It's for you and your family, no matter what happens tonight. She looks in the envelope when he goes to the bathroom, and it's stuffed with paper. And so she panics and realizes something's wrong. So she goes in the bathroom, and he had become very aggressive, very angry. She goes in the bathroom, locks the door, and calls to get a cab. And that's how she comes out. They speak for over an hour. So the driver knows her well and notices that she has a drooping eye, which is characteristic of Shannon, and also a characteristic of her family, by the way, going back for a generation or two. And so she notices that, and it helps her to remember Shannon when she sees her later on. That's the first part of the story. It doesn't end there. This is part two. Several days or weeks later, it's not clear, and this is all occurring in the fall of 2009. This is all occurring. The driver gets another call from the same dispatcher and says that there's a man named Matt who she's to pick up right off of exit 59 in the expressway, and he would be at a bar that was there.
Okay, exit 59 the expressway. There is a Smoky Bones restaurant, a Red Lobster, and I believe a hotel. Yeah, that's exit 59. That's Ronkonkoma.
By, I guess, Ocean Avenue, somewhere over there. She goes there, pulls up on a side street between the bar and a house right next to it, and she sees a girl in a window, and then she sees to the right of her.
Oh, I think that's a bar. Okay, I think I know where this is. I think I know where that might be now. There's a bar that's in a house, and it has a porch and everything, and then there's a house right next door. I wonder if that's a place, because that place is kind of seedy.
A huge man, rising up, coming to the car. He's dressed in camouflage, and he leans in and then jumps in the back seat, sits on the edge, and leans over and starts talking to her. And she's watching him very carefully in the mirror. And she recognizes him as the same guy that was at the motel a little while before. And she now knows him to be, she recognizes him from the media as Rex Heuermann. He says to her that he wants her to take him on a long trip into the woods. In other words, he changed the destination she had been told, which caused her immediately to become suspicious. And he was very upset, very angry. And he began to dispute with her when she said, "I'm not going on a long trip anywhere." And with that, he gets extremely angry and threatens to kill her and tells her, "I already want to kill you. Just give me a reason." And he had a gun, a handgun. She said,
I don't know. These things are sounding funnier and funnier. But I don't know. They're sounding kind of a lot of, I don't know, stories. What's a bar? It's a bar. It's a bar. No, it's Babar. I'm like, isn't that a elephant prince? That's Babar. Oh, okay. I don't know. This is sounding like a Michelle story.
says, "I'm not going anywhere at this point." And she turns off the car and she says, "You can have the keys. You can have my money, whatever you want. Just let me go. I'll let you have whatever you want." With that, her dispatcher is on the radio, and he says out loud, "We know, we see you, we hear you, we can tell who you are." And the man panics, gets out of the car. She's then able to drive away. She encounters a police car coming the other way. She believes that the police officer was called by a 911 caller on that issue. Could have been the girl who was in the house right next door from where she was. But comes the police, driving slowly with his lights off. She tells him the story, and the man had on a lanyard with a placard of some kind, as if he were a police officer. And she asked him, "Are you a cop?" And he said, "Yes." She said, "From where?" He said, "Brooklyn." With those facts in mind, she tells the police officer who's driving, "There's one of yours back there, and it looks like he's had a bad day. So you better go see what's what." Words to that effect. She later on hears from her dispatcher that this man, went into the woods and fired off his pistol twice. And she recognizes him very clearly to be Rex Heuermann when she sees him. So she's given us this affidavit as well. There's a pattern that's developing here of Rex Heuermann being somebody who tracks down people and haunts them. And Shannon Gilbert would therefore be no exception. Now, the third witness has not given a statement yet. The third witness contacted me from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Woo!
And that witness clearly recalls being picked up. She was a street walker. She gets picked up by Rex Heuermann.
I was going to say maybe it's ski mask trying to get some reward money.
In Queens, and he drives, I think, near the big center there in Queens, and he drives her into a park in Flushing, where he makes her keep her head down at all times, commit oral sex, and then he has a pistol in his hand and tells her, "Get out of the car or I'm going to kill you. And don't do anything except what I tell you to do or I'm going to kill you." So she gets out of the car and he tells her, before she does, he tells her, "I want you to pick up another person, another customer." She gets out of the car and immediately pulls up another SUV and a man driving it, an African-American man. And the guy that picks her up is white. And she gets in the other guy's car. And the driver, Rex Heuermann, follows the car. They go. Finally get out of the car because she panics and pulls the wheel because she sees a cop car coming. So the cop sees them go jaggedy off the road and the cop stops.
I don't know if I believe any of this. Does this sound like really crazy stories? I don't know.
So the cop then goes back, talks to Rex and the other driver who gets out and walks back. Cop comes back and tells her, "Lady, if you want to make a complaint, you have to go to the precinct," and drives away. That's her story.
I kind of feel bad for Commissioner Harrelson. The poor commish wants to crack up. I feel like the poor man wants to crack up, but he can't. It's so crazy, right?
She also has no reason. She refuses to come forward. She refuses to have herself identified. I know her name. I know her address. I've given it to the police. They're aware of it, and presumably they're investigating it. You see the pattern. There's a pattern of a guy who likes to play kind of sporting games with.
John won't dox you. He will not dox you. Right? Did Kimmy Love write this script?
With the sex workers, chases them, haunts them, hunts them. That's what we're looking at here, we believe, anyway. The fourth witness, and I'll finish on that.
Fourth one.
She comes from another state, and she's contacted me as well. I have very lengthy notes and recordings of what we discussed. She was a sex worker for many years, back in the time when all of these killings were occurring, and she serviced Rex Heuermann. She said that she would service Rex Heuermann over 20 times, and that he was a serial user of sex workers.
Well, we
he
knew
would
that.
sometimes have them come two at a time to his house, and his wife was home upstairs, and in one instance got very angry at one of the sex workers because the wife believed that the worker had stolen an iron from, for ironing clothes, and had it in the car with the driver. So the driver had to get out. Everybody had to search the car. There was no iron.
Oh no. A sex worker that likes neatly pressed clothes? My goodness.
But the wife knew about it and knew about, obviously, what was going on in order for that to happen. So she says that in her experience with Heuermann, he was never impolite. He was always nice. He was always funny. He treated her well, and there was no violence. But he certainly had contact with Rex constantly for a period of several years. That's as much as I'm able to tell you. There's plenty of other new evidence, which I think it will take too long at this press conference to discuss. There's plenty of new other evidence that's similar in kind and consistent with the kinds of things that I've just described to you. So with that thought, I'm hoping that the police department will continue.
Oh my gosh, Angie. Where you guys would just where your father-in-law is and everybody? Oh my goodness. They climbed out the day room window. Holy moly. I didn't know that they had windows that opened in prisons. That's crazy. Four of them at once. I wonder if they're gonna, if they split up, make it harder for them to. I hope they find them. Is your mom near them? Near where it is? Yeah, super crazy, but your mom will be all right. Okay. That is super nuts. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that's okay. Oh man, oh, this world is going crazy. All right, let's see what else. Oh, you heard about that earlier this morning, Queen? Oh my goodness, I didn't hear about it. All right, let's see what else John has to say.
Along with the
His jacket's
task
very
force,
shiny, by the way. I
they
don't
will
think you can
continue
see it on your end.
to look into
Maybe
these
it
things, investigate them thoroughly, make the synapses that haven't been made so far, connect them up and connect the dots, as it were. And I think we're getting to where we want to go. Lastly, I am still working on this case. Today, I took Joseph Brewer's deposition, the John for Shannon Gilbert. I just finished it and came here. I'm still actively pursuing this case on my own, as well as cooperating with the police department and the task force. But for people out there who have information and are afraid to come forward to the police, they can talk to me. They can reveal whatever they want. I will reveal it to no one. I reveal these things with their permission, the things that I told you about. But anybody else that still has information, I'm available. My door is open. My phones are open. I can help you. Thank you.
You don't need no more. Okay, let's see what the commission has to say about this. Does anybody have any information they'd like to pass along to John? I'm gonna go to now tonight. I'm gonna have a crazy Shantex stream that I met the list guy, and then I'm gonna wake up and be like, I met him. I'm gonna have to call John.
About Karen Brigada. She's the first known victim of the serial killer. Does this lead you to make Rex Heuermann the prime suspect in her murder in 1996?
You know, I don't want to make Rex Heuermann the prime suspect. I will say this, and I'll share this over and over again. The creation of the task force got us into a good place of being able to identify Rex for 3 of the sex workers that were discovered, and we're looking very good for the 4th one. But we also added 2 more investigators to the task force to take this type of information in and to pursue it, to follow it, to see if this is credible. That's very important, and that's why people don't understand. When I first came into this position, I sat down with John Ray, myself and the members of the task force, to have that conversation about information that he may have, and let's make sure we're.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this man right here, none of this would have even been going on. It would still have been no suspect, no suspect, no suspect. This man right here is what put the fire under Suffolk County's ass after they got rid of that garbage guy who just got arrested again for prostitution, but I think he was prostituting himself or something. But this man, this is why they actually have a suspect. He's the reason why they have a suspect in custody. I fully believe that.
Putting a dragnet out there regarding any information that's coming to us. That's why I'm going to continue my partnership with John. And if people have a reluctancy to come forward to law enforcement and they want to go to John Ray, then it's important that we take this information and then we follow forward with furthering the investigation. So,
Do you believe this is
It's still an ongoing investigation, so I'll leave it at that. But once again, it's this: we have the information, we're working it, and we'll see where it leads us down the road.
And you're saying to us earlier that you're going to leave no stone unturned, and the fact that there possibly were affidavits that you can use to possibly find future victims.
Absolutely, and that's a very good question, and that's why I stand here today with John Ray. If people don't want to use our Crime Stoppers hotline, and they feel a lot more comfortable going to John Ray or anybody else, I want to make sure that people understand that we have a job here as law enforcement, as the Suffolk County Police Department, to make sure we investigate every single complaint or interest in this case. Make sure that we look under every single stone to see if there is any connection to Rex Sherman, or if there is a connection to somebody else that may be involved with the bodies that were discovered on Ocean Parkway.
Commissioner, have you heard about or known about the affidavits before today? What's the time frame?
So we could go about a month and a half, depending on 2 months, depending on each one. For one of the affidavits, I was actually sat down with the person myself. That just shows you my vested interest in it. Listen, this is something that's very important to me. I'm going to continue.
You see, he said this is something that was very important to him. This is what I like about him. Everybody else before him did not make this a priority because they were just sex workers.
To grind to make sure anybody that had an interaction with our defendant, Rex Sherman, is held accountable in this case.
Which witness did you sit down with? Number one or number two?
The delivery cab driver, the taxi cab driver, yeah.
That's the one with Shannon Gilbert.
That's the one with Shannon Gilbert. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Yeah. Anybody else?
What year was that? 2007 or 9? 2009.
The taxi driver is 2009, the fall of 2009, and she is not absolutely certain of the time frame, but that's where it approximates.
And that's where, Mary, that's where we're going to make sure we're doing our job and trying to nail down time frames, look at radio runs and other things that could help us kind of pinpoint if there is any credibility to these complaints that came forward.
And the commissioner did send 2 detectives to interview the other witness with me, which we did already and at length.
John, or did any of these witnesses explain why they didn't come forward for now?
Yes.
Was it immediately when they saw Rex Sherman's picture?
Yeah, it was certainly a question we had to ask. We have to ask many questions to test credibility. And I'm not saying that people would necessarily lie, although they might, but that they don't remember or they mix up facts with other situations. We had to test all of those things. And so we had to test that too. And in the one case with the witness with the swapping.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay. Rex Sherman is an architect, and his office was in Manhattan. Okay. So that means he lived in Massapequa Park, which is here on Long Island, which means he would have to, going to work and coming home, he would have to take the Long Island Railroad. He was a commuter. The lanyard around the neck, a lot of commuters on the Long Island Railroad. There's different ways you can buy your tickets. The people who go into the city every single day to work, they will buy a monthly. You save money, of course, on a monthly, right? And a lot of them will wear it around their neck on a lanyard because you get going in, some people leave super early in the morning and they'll sleep on the train on the way in, and the conductor will just go and look at it and do the doop and then leave. Same thing on the way home. They're tired, they'll fall asleep, and same thing, so that could be it. He might have worn a lanyard with his monthly on it, but he lived in Massapequa Park, and so his train line would be the Babylon line, the South Shore line, the South Shore of Long Island, and it wouldn't go anywhere near Ronkonkoma. He would have to transfer in Babylon to get to Sayville, to the Sayville Motor Inn, and it's a whole way out of his way. Would he do that? And it is closer to Gilgo. Sayville is closer to Gilgo. But Massapequa, where he lives, is also a straight shot to Gilgo, too. It's just a little farther off. So it's kind of super I just, that Sayville thing. I mean, yeah, it is closer to Gilgo. But he would have had to have gone from Manhattan to Babylon, Babylon to Sayville, and it's only a couple more stops on the train to go into Sayville. Then he would have had to have taken a cab from Sayville to the Motor Inn, from the train to the Motor Inn, because the Motor Inn's on Sunrise Highway, and the Sayville Motor Inn is on Sunrise Highway, and the train station is south of Sunrise Highway. So I wish I could give everybody a geography of Long Island. It is just so weird. We don't say sir or ma'am up here either. I say it because I think I just got ingrained in my head and living in down in Georgia, but we don't say sir or ma'am. Oyster cards for traveling. It's just what it is once a month you buy your monthly train ticket, and because normally I don't even know how much it is now to ride. I haven't been into Manhattan and such. It's really, I haven't been there since I've been back. I drove. No, I didn't even drive through it when I came home. I flew over it when I came home. Yeah, I know y'all say it down there. I say it because I got used to saying it, being down there. Like if I don't understand something, like instead of saying excuse me or what, when I don't understand what somebody says, I picked this up from Greg. I'll say sir or ma'am so they can repeat it for me. I learned that living down there. But yeah, up here we don't say sir or ma'am a lot. Yeah, that's odd to me. That's a whole nother getting off a train, waiting for a transfer if there's not one there already waiting to get to board. And then once you transfer onto it, that's another Babylon, Bay Shore, Islip, Oakdale, Sayville. That's how it goes. That's how the stops go. Yeah, Bayshore. It's Babylon. So he would go from Manhattan. He would get off in Babylon because that's where he would have to transfer. Then you would transfer in Babylon, and it would go Bayshore, Islip, Great River, Oakdale, Sayville. That's how it goes. Great River, Oakdale, Sayville. I always forget Great River is there. It's a very tiny, little, teeny tiny town. Very wealthy, but very teeny tiny. Yeah, so that's how it would go. So that's a whole way, and then a whole Uber or cab ride. Well, at that time, it wouldn't have been an Uber. It would have been a cab ride to the Sayville Motor Inn. And then you think about it, he'd have to do that in reverse back home. He wouldn't have to go all the way to Manhattan. He would get off at his stop where he would probably park his car, because then they also have commuter parking lots for the people. And either you have to be a resident with a sticker or you have to buy a sticker in order to park in these lots. So it's like, for a commuter, it just seems like a whole lot to go and meet a sex worker when you're basically in Manhattan and they're available there as well. In fact, a lot of these women came out of Jersey, Connecticut, and Manhattan. They weren't even from Long Island. The only one I think that came from Long Island that was living here was the one who lived in Babylon, and I can't remember her. I don't know if it was Melissa. It might have been Melissa. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that these leads just aren't. I mean, the affidavit. I mean, anybody could sign an affidavit, right? An affidavit. Oh, I don't know. This just seems so, especially with the Jenny Jen hat on. I mean, come on, John. I don't know. It just seems It's really crazy to me.
It bothered her that they left behind this girl, but she had no other reason to think anything of it until she saw this. She actually broke down. She couldn't believe it when she saw the picture and knew that girl. And that happened there with the taxi driver. The taxi driver did report it. The taxi driver, back in when this originally happened, she talked to her. Her cousin was a cop. She spoke to her family. She spoke to other taxi drivers. She told a lot of people about it. And then she did contact Crime Stoppers and report it and actually talked to them twice, but nobody called her back. So that's long before the commissioner was involved. So she did come forward and she said, well, you know, when it got reactivated, the issue, then she called me. Okay.
Find the witness too credible, the person you sat with, Commissioner?
So, you know, the way John explained it, and you got to just kind of take this into context. She doesn't have a stake in the game. She's a cab driver at night, had a profession during the day. You know, she's not necessarily from this neighborhood. So, you know, little things like that kind of piqued my interest. And once again, is this, you know, why did she come forward and her role and story and everything? It's something that we need to take a closer look at, and we need to make sure we're investigating it. And that's why the task force will stay in place. That's why we added more manpower to it. We're going to continue to work with our law enforcement partners and see if there's any nexus to our defendant Rex Heuermann, or once again, like I said before, if there's happens to be another subject out there, we'll look at them as well and see if we can hold them accountable.
And it was reported that you guys were honing in on Valerie Mack and Karen Vergata.
What'd I do? Sorry, I've been reading this. Sorry. I forgot. You can't see.
Well, it's all the bodies that were discovered. Let's not rule out Peaches, the Tyler, the Asian male. You know, those were the names that I shared with Tony, but it doesn't mean that we're not continuing to look at all the bodies that were discovered.
I don't know why it froze.
The ones right now that John has.
All right, sorry about that. I don't know why it froze. Maybe. Oh, no, my internet is okay. It's rating. It's messing with your internet. Oh, my goodness. So that's crazy. That is just super crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind all that. That was just a lot. Oh, yeah. No. So I wasn't planning to even do much tonight. I was just trying to see if I could get this Rumble thing going. And I've been here for an hour boring you guys with my Lisk stuff. It wasn't anything. It was wild. Yeah, definitely wild. That is, ooh. And, you know, coming from a man that was a Jenny Jen hat on the regular. You could hear him talking, just not see it. Yeah, they were kind of wrapping it up. I don't think it wasn't much. But I am going to sign off because it has been an hour. And Bomb is on. Is she still on? So I want to go and catch up and see what she had to say. But yeah, hopefully I will be bringing you more wild rides. Definitely. Oh, thanks, Sweet Harmony. I'm hoping I'm not boring. I am getting before you go, Queen. I know. Well, you can if you're still listening. I am getting together a members only things. I know my members are here, so just so you know, I am trying to work something out. Want to have a fun night with like a game thing and win prizes, but I'm also going to do, I think, a sub giveaway for my 1,000 member thing also. So I don't know. I got a whole bunch of ideas bouncing around in my crazy little head. Yep. So yeah, I'm going to go sign off, do 2 things, and then be over at Bomb. So I'll see you all there. Thanks for staying with me tonight, guys. Appreciate you all. Have a good night. I'll see you in a bit. Oh, no. Is she really? Oh, no. Mm-mm. All right, Wandering. We need to get together. Ugh, God. Kimmy, love, you know what? Get over yourself. You're not that important. Now, all of a sudden, I feel like, oh, God. All right. Before I get myself angry, have a good night, guys. Well, I love you all. Thank you for being here. I know. I just got a, yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I will talk to you. Have a good night. Bye.